"Just act like you're mine for tonight," said the CEO. The single dad's reply left her speechless. The champagne flute trembled slightly in her hand as she leaned closer and whispered, "Just act like you're mine for tonight." Ethan Carter looked up from where he was kneeling, fixing his 6-year-old daughter's shoelace, and met the eyes of one of the most powerful CEOs in the city. And for a brief second, the entire ballroom seemed to hold its breath. Ethan hadn't planned on being there. The charity gala at the Grand Aurora Hotel was a world away from his usual evenings of microwave dinners, homework battles, and bedtime stories. But his daughter Lily's school had received a grant from the event last year, and when the organizer found out Ethan played piano for free at community centers, she'd begged him to perform one song. "One song," she'd said. "Then you can leave." So here he was, wearing a borrowed suit that fit just a little too tight, Lily at his side in a simple blue dress, feeling wildly out of place among diamond necklaces and tailored tuxedos. That was when Victoria Hale noticed him. Everyone knew her name. CEO of Hale International. Self-made, ruthless in boardrooms, ice-cold in interviews. Tonight, she wore elegance like armor, black gown, confident posture, unreadable eyes. But beneath that polish, Victoria was panicking. Her investors were circling her like sharks. The tabloids had been relentless since her very public breakup with a fellow billionaire who turned out to be more scandal than substance. Tonight, whispers followed her across the room. She's distracted. She's vulnerable. She's losing control. And then she saw Ethan. Not because he was handsome, though he was, in a quiet, grounded way, but because he was real. He laughed softly with his daughter. He crouched to her level. He listened. Something Victoria hadn't done in a long time was feel safe. So she walked over, ignoring the stares, ignoring the shock on her assistant's face, and said the words she never imagined she'd say to a stranger. "Just act like you're mine for tonight." Ethan blinked. He'd spent years being invisible. Since his wife passed away 3 years earlier, life had become a narrow tunnel. Work, Lily, bills, repeat. No drama, no surprises, certainly not this. He glanced at Lily, who was now examining a dessert table with intense focus. "I'm not really," he started. Victoria leaned closer, her voice lower now. "I don't need anything inappropriate. I just need people to stop looking at me like I'm alone." Something in her eyes cracked then, not weakness but exhaustion. Ethan straightened slowly. Then he said the last thing Victoria Hale expected. "I'll do it," he said calmly. "But not the way you're asking." She frowned. "What does that mean?" "It means," he continued, "I won't pretend to be yours so others feel impressed. I'll stand with you so you don't feel alone. There's a difference." Victoria stared at him. No one had spoken to her like that in years. "Is that acceptable?" he added gently. For the first time that night, Victoria smiled, and it wasn't for show. "Yes," she said quietly. "That's more than acceptable." They walked into the crowd together. People noticed immediately. Whispers shifted. Cameras turned. But something unexpected happened. Ethan didn't play the role of a trophy. He didn't boast or posture. He introduced Lily proudly. He asked people real questions. When Victoria tensed during a conversation, he subtly redirected it. When Lily got tired, he carried her without embarrassment, suit and all. And slowly, the room changed. Not because of power, but because of presence. Later in the evening, Ethan sat at the grand piano for his one promised song. Lily fell asleep in a nearby chair, Victoria watching quietly from the front row. He played a simple melody, not flashy, not rehearsed to impress. Just honest. It was the kind of music that reminded you of home. Victoria felt something sting behind her eyes. She realized she couldn't remember the last time someone had done something purely because it mattered, to no agenda, no image, no deal. When the applause ended, she stood first. The entire room followed. The twist came after. In a private lounge, Victoria thanked him. Sincerely. Without the CEO mask. "I assumed people wanted something from me," she admitted. "You didn't." Ethan shrugged. "I already have what I need." She looked confused. "You do." He smiled, glancing toward Lily. Every day. There was silence. Heavy. Honest. Then Victoria did something no one had ever seen her do. She exhaled. "I built an empire," she said softly. "And somehow forgot how to let people stand beside me." Ethan met her gaze. "It's not too late." They didn't exchange promises. They didn't rush into romance. They exchanged something better. Respect. Understanding. Humanity. In the weeks that followed, Victoria funded Lily's school anonymously. Ethan continued his quiet life, but now with invitations he declined until he was ready. And one evening, months later, Victoria showed up at a community center where Ethan played piano on Fridays. No cameras. No entourage. Just her. She sat beside him and whispered, "Can I just act like I'm yours for tonight?" Ethan smiled. "You don't have to act," he said. And for the first time in a long time, neither of them felt alone.